And I'd like to turn this over to Peggy Smith, who's got some really beautiful work for us today. Beautiful energy.
Well, I'll try to live up to that, Celia. Welcome, everyone. I'm really happy you're here. I want to say right off that I don't really enjoy webinars, meaning the presenter does all the talking and the participants do all the listening. I like to co-create my space. So if questions and curiosities arise for you, you can either raise your electronic hand so that I can see it, or you can type your question or curiosity in the chat, and Celia will be monitoring the chat for me. I'm old, so it's hard for me to talk and read the chat at the same time. Alrighty, so if you are willing to speak up in some way, if you have a question or curiosity, would you wave at me or give me a thumbs up? That way my nervous system can relax and know that we're in this together. Wonderful. So one of the challenges of being an NVC trainer is how to share something meaningful in a short period of time. So Celia said, what profound thing could you share in 40 minutes? We'll see how this works for you. So my first question for you is, would you indicate with a wave or a thumbs up if you ever have judgments? Like your mind ever judges things as good, bad, right, wrong. All right. That's wonderful because it means your left hemisphere is functional. And in order to get things done in the world, we want a functional left hemisphere. So judgments are really important things because that's what our left hemisphere does. It's constantly judging. Where it's not helpful to live a nonviolent life is when we believe our judgments and we kind of get swept away into the river of our judgments. Because when we are being swept away by our judgment, we're actually losing our capacity to be in the present moment and to be curious about the humanity of the other person, or if it's a judgment of ourselves, the humanity of ourselves. And so one of the things we can do is use the processes of nonviolent communication to be aware, first of all, that we're judging, and then second of all, how to translate that judgment to find the universal human needs underneath. Once we find the needs, then there are other processes we can use to figure out how we're going to nurture that need. But the first step is one, awareness. Oh, look, I'm judging. So often I'm so swept into my judgments that I just think it's just true, and it just is, and I'm not even aware I'm judging. Then the second step is, once I'm aware I'm judging, am I willing to look at what's underneath the judgment? And in nonviolent communication, we frame that as, what are the universal human needs underneath? So that's what I thought we would spend a little time doing. Does that seem interesting to anybody? All right, great. So it would be very helpful if you're old-fashioned like me, to have paper and something to write with. If you're new-fashioned, like my friend Eric, you have something to type, some sort of document that you would type in. Either way works. So I'm just going to pause while you scatter around to find what your strategy for doing your recording. And what I'd like you to do is pick one judgment that you have or have had in, let's say, the last 2 weeks. One judgment you're aware of from right now or in the past 2 weeks, and write it down. or type it down. It can be easier if you pick a judgment of something that's outside of you, as opposed to an internal judgment. We can use the same process for internal judgments. It's just, to me, a little more nuanced and takes a little more challenge. All right, so are we set? Do we have something? Yeah, we ready to go? All right, so I'm going to screen share and go through the process, and then I would love to coach someone else through the process. And then I'll give you all time to work on the process by yourselves so that you can experience it. Why is that not showing up here? All right. I know why. Beautiful. Okay, now I think I'm ready. So here's my clean piece of paper. And the first thing I'm going to do is write my judgment. Can you see that okay? Okay, great. Okay, this is my judgment. The world would be better off if that person had never been born. Okay, that's a judgment that I can experience. And then what I want to do is write an observation. And we know that in NVC, when we're writing an observation, we want to, as best as we can, stick to the actual facts that other people would agree with. So not something that's up for interpretation, but something other people would agree with that leads me to have that judgment. In this moment, I'm just pausing because I'm trying to settle on which person I want to use for my judgment. The world would be better off if they were never born. Because there are many characters who could fit into that, and I'm just going to pick one. This person has made decisions that is resulting in many people dying. I'm not sure how is that a Y? Dying? Is that the correct spelling right in this moment? Okay. And I notice actually a shift in my energy when I get to the observation. When I'm in my judgment, I'm one, not very connected to my body, and two, like it's like in me anyway, a lot of energy pointing out. And when I connect to this observation, I start to feel my body. So the next thing I want to do is record my feelings. And I immediately notice tears in the back of my eyes. And that's coming, when I acknowledge that, I notice sadness, heartbreak, Mm. Some terror. So, fear. Mm. And I'm feeling into my body. What is there anything else I'm noticing? And I'm tracking some sort of a kind of a nauseous feeling in my stomach. And I think I'm going to call that loneliness. Okay. Now, to me, it's really important not to rush through our feelings, but to actually take some time, not only noticing the sensations and the labels, but to accompany them, not rush past them. Say, oh, sadness, you're here with me. Ah, heartbreak, you are here with me. Ah, terror and fear. Oh yeah, you are here with me, and I can feel it kind of coming up the right side of my throat. Mm. And loneliness. You are here with me. And for me right now, that loneliness is living like down in my abdomen. By really taking some time to accompany my feelings, what I experience is that I get a stronger sense of who and what they are. Now, the magic of nonviolent communication is that we know our feelings are so valuable because they help me find my universal human needs. And so, with each one of these feelings and sensations, I open up a curiosity. I wonder what needs are underneath here. And you might even be making some guesses for me in your own mind. I don't know. I'm going to make some guesses, and then if anyone else has some suggestions that I haven't said, you could offer them and I'll check it out, see if it works for me. The first one I'm aware of is well-being. And because the needs are universal, it's yes, I'd love my own well-being, but I also want well-being for everyone else too. I want the well-being to flow. To me, well-being is one way, thriving. And that's not even on my needs list, but it's the word that.
I'm sorry.
So, thriving, I'm realizing how much I yearn for everything to thrive. Ah, there's the need of peace. Can really close with peace is harmony. I'm not sure if that's the same, different words for the same thing, or if they have different flavors. And expression. The loneliness is about expression and the need to be heard and to hear. Hmm. And I notice that as I connect to these needs, the different sensations in my body start to um, calm down, maybe even resolve, so that I end up with an inner peace and harmony. So, Celia, I'm going to pause for a second. Have there been any questions in the chat?
No, none that
Okay,
I've seen.
great. So, this is the basic process for what I call finding the pearls in the oyster. I don't know if any of you have seen an oyster. Okay, I was about to say they're kind of ugly, but that's a value judgment. To another oyster, they're magnificent. All right, but in general, oysters, whatever. That's the judgment is our oyster, and hiding in the oyster are our pearls, the universal human needs. And this is a really fundamental exercise when I want to begin to live from a nonviolent place, is to be able to notice, oh, look, I'm judging. And not to judge myself for judging, but to notice I'm judging. Find a clean observation connected to that judgment. Once I get a clean observation, search in my body for any feelings, or it could be in my face. Feelings are either in my core or in my face. And then when I get clear about the feelings, then I can start to explore what needs are underneath those feelings. So I'm going to stop the screen share for a moment to see more people. And I'm wondering if there are any questions or curiosities coming up.
Yes, Peggy, we have a question. Should the needs be focused on what triggered the judgment in us or what the needs were behind the other person's actions? So this person started with the other person's actions and then shifted to themselves.
Ah, so it's always my advice to start with ourselves, because we were going to be much more successful at truly guessing the other person if we are clear about what needs are important to us. Otherwise, I get concerned that we're doing something like that is sometimes labeled spiritual bypass. I'm trying to be a nice, good person. So I have a judgment of you. Oh, so let me try to figure out what needs are important to you. Whoa, there's a very important person missing in that. For those of you who came to, we can hear you typing, Celia, just
Oh,
see.
sorry.
Yeah. If you came to the first Meet the Trainer that I did, we did the 4 chairs. Judging is chair 1 or 2, and thinking about the other person's needs is chair 4. We skipped chair 3. And I have a judgment that it's not sustainable, but it's what we've been taught to do. Be a good person and care about the other. We can be a good person and care about ourselves on the journey to caring about the other. So I'm wondering how that is for whoever had the question. How was that to hear?
So
Okay.
they're responding. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, and we have another question.
Great.
So this is, how come you stop short in Offner? Observation, feelings, need, request. How come there's no request?
Oh, because this is an exercise in and of itself. I don't have a request right now. I'm just trying to understand myself. I'm just trying to translate my judgments to find out what the beautiful need is. I may or may not have a request. Here's the implicit request. Peggy, when you notice you're judging, would you pause and find out what needs are underneath the judgment for you? That's an implicit request of myself as a practitioner. Once I get clear about what the needs are, and then I like to actually add in connecting to the beauty of the need, how that need lives in me as a beautiful, fulfilled energy, that's when I like to make my requests. But I like to teach one step at a time. I hope that was helpful to the person who asked the question.
And we got a super and a thanks for that answer, Becky. You got a super and a thanks.
Right. One of the things I think is so important is that, you know, that's requests are when we're shifting back into our left hemisphere. Requests are getting something done. And finding our needs is when we're shifted into our right hemisphere, where we're being relational. And I notice, especially in the culture in which I live, how quick we are to think, oh, okay, I've spent enough time in my relational hemisphere. Let me do something. Oh, and that can get us into some sticky quicksand when we rush faster than might be wise into requesting actions, especially of others. So I like to really encourage people to notice if you feel anxious, just hanging out with your feelings and needs without thinking you have to do something. So I'm wondering, is there anyone who has a judgment that they would like to have support in going through this process? Or people may feel ready. Okay, I'm ready to go, and I can just go do my practice, which is judgment, observation, feeling, and needs. Okay. And I see Nina's hand. Nina, are you willing to come off mute and tell us what your judgment is? Oh, I forgot to say this one thing though, Nina, before you do it. Please pick a judgment that does not involve anyone on this call. Because I forgot to say that once in a workshop. And what the person shared was a judgment they had about the person sitting next to them. And it took me 2 hours to get the group back. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, the judgment's on myself. I'm at work multitasking. But I love, thank you so much. And what came up for me is I judge myself when I compare myself to others, and I want to stop that.
Okay, well, pick one time, Nina, instead of this general thing, because your needs could be different at different moments. So can you pick one judgment you have of yourself?
That I'm not doing more things that I was told to do by this Chinese medicine doctor to improve my chances.
Okay, I'm not following my doctor's suggestions fully. Is that the judgment or enough? I'm not
Yes,
doing enough. I'm not
yes,
doing enough to follow. I'm writing it down just so I won't forget my doctor's suggestions. Does that
yes,
sound accurate? Okay.
yes.
Okay. I'm not doing enough. So, what might be a clean observation, Nina?
Observation on the judgment.
What's leading you to make that judgment?
I see others taking steps that I'm not taking.
Okay, so what is it you're not doing? That would be, I think, the observation. What is it that your doctor
Oh,
has recommended that you're not doing or have not done, let's say, in the last week? Make it a
right.
little smaller.
I'm not doing the castor oil packs. I'm not doing some other exercises that she gave me.
Okay, I'm not doing the exercises. And there was something else that I didn't quite catch.
Castor oil
Oh,
packs.
the castor oil. Okay, I'm not doing the exercises and the castor oil packs. Okay. Have you never done them, or are we saying in the
I
last
have.
week I haven't done them?
Yeah, in the last few months, let's say, I took a break, but I have been doing them like almost like every day.
Okay, so in the last, and be really as accurate as you can, in the last what, Nina, have you not done it? Have you taken a break?
I would say if since April.
Okay, I have taken a break since April. Great, thank you. Now, when you think about that, I have taken a break from the exercises and the castor oil packs since April. Notice, how do you feel in your body?
Sorry, I have noise.
So, Nina, can you write in the chat how you notice that you're feeling? If you don't have the bandwidth to talk right now. Oh, and now
I
she's
think I think sadness. I'm
okay.
not sure. Sadness, maybe.
Okay. So, describe to me what you're feeling, because you're not sure the label. What are you feeling, or where do you feel something?
It's usually around my heart.
I don't care where it usually is. I want to know where it is right now. We're doing the exercise right now in this moment.
My stomach area.
In your stomach, okay? Is it tight? Is it nauseous? Is it fluttery? Is it
It's
achy?
no, it's just uneasy. There's
Un-
just I feel it more.
okay, great. So you just be with that uneasiness. And so partly what I hear is that you're feeling sad. Is there anything else in that uneasiness?
I feel drained.
Drained. Mhm. Stay with it and see if there's any other word that it would like to speak out.
I just want to be. I think that's what's coming up. The word be is coming up.
Oh, so I think right now your system has switched to the needs. You have the need, is it well-being? Is it ease?
Ease, peace, inner peace, ease,
Mhm.
fun,
Oh, maybe play?
play. Yeah.
Oh, oh, okay. Wonderful. Is there anything else? Go ahead.
Calmness is coming to me. To be calm.
Okay. Nice. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Hmm. So what I'm hearing, these are the needs that I think I heard you say, and I just want you to pick one or two that are the most important. Can you do that for me? Okay. I had written down the need of ease, peace, fun, play, inner calm.
Ease and peace.
Ease and peace. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nina. How are you doing right now?
Feel better. This no, I don't feel my stomach anymore. Thank you.
All right. And I'm going to say this to everybody out there. If it was helpful for you that Nina was vulnerable and did a process in front of all of us, would you wave at her or do a thumbs up with the emoji? Some way that she knows that by being vulnerable, she was helpful. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of hearts and thumbs up, Nina. Thank you so much. All right. Are there any questions about the process? So then what I'd like to do is be quiet for a few minutes and have you go through the process yourself. What's your judgment? What's a clean observation? What feelings arise in your body? What needs are underneath those feelings?
I want to reassure the people, there's a couple of questions in the chat that after the process, I will relay your questions to Peggy. I see them.
I think someone's typing.
You're right, it was me. Thank you. So I'm just checking in. How are we doing? Would anybody really like more time? All right, I would love it if you're willing, if you would type into the chat what needs you became aware of inside yourself.
So there's a question, a hand raised from
Yep,
Brigitte.
I see that. Thanks.
Okay.
And Brigitte, would you like to come off mute and ask your question?
Yeah, thank you, Peggy. I love this. Thank you so much for presenting this. So my judgment is a tricky one. Um, or I should say, trying to turn it into an observation is a tricky one because it has to do with somebody else's tone in response to something that they disagree in. So everything can be going smoothly, and then if if this person senses disagreement, their tone changes and it becomes, I'm going to use a jackal, becomes hostile or aggressive. It's like they start to attack.
Okay, so here's the observation. That person, I'm just going to call them Peggy. Peggy is using a tone that I interpret as hostile. That's the observation.
Okay. I wouldn't have to describe it any other way because I got stuck on that. Like, is the word hostile more of an evaluation?
Well, yes, but and the observation is that I'm interpreting their tone as hostile because their tone might be coming from some other emotion. It could be coming from confusion or fear. When we call it hostile, we are actually labeling the intent. But
Got it.
when I say I'm interpreting that's the observation.
Thank you so much. That's so helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It also allows me to have that word for my own reference because it's the best way to describe how it's impacting me.
Exactly. You see why it's so important to keep us in the process because everything's being interpreted through us. It doesn't mean we have to believe our interpretations, but we need to own our interpretations. That's how we can work through them. Thank you for your question. And I'm seeing the needs of peace and order and satisfaction and fairness and safety. Lots of peace here. You must be my kind of people. Okay. You value peace and mattering and inclusion. Yeah, thank you. Are there any other questions that somebody might like to give voice to?
I've had a few questions in the chat I want to
Thank you, Celia.
ask. So there's a question, it's kind of a two-part. It's once I feel their needs and feelings, I feel the burden of helping them out due to empathy, and how do I not get overwhelmed by another person's need and keep space for my needs too? I lose myself.
Great. Thank you. Um, there's not a short answer to that question, but this is the shortest answer I can give you. Well, two. One is what I was typing before that someone heard. I'm quoting a dear friend who uses this saying, "We cannot save others. We can only love them." When we are little, we try as best we can to save our families. And we do this in many ways. And the NVC trainer, Sarah Payton, would say we make unconscious contracts. We make commitments in order to save our families. So one commitment might be, I vow to help everyone at all times. And our little beings do that in order to help our families be as functional as they can be. The thing is this, we it's a vow, so it becomes a promise from which we lead our own life no matter the cost to ourselves. And when in this question, what I'm hearing is, ooh, it's at cost sometimes to ourselves. When we care, we have to fix others and we do it at our own expense. And that's not sustainable. And that, in my opinion, is not nonviolent. It's okay, in order to help someone else, I'm willing to be violent to myself. And what we're after is creating a world where we're not violent to ourselves and we help others not be violent to themselves. And one part is to maybe contemplate that saying, we cannot save others, we can only love them. What does that mean? So that's not, and in Connecticut, we can delve even deeper into that. And I just want to say, hi, Edith. I haven't seen Edith in so long. And my little nervous system is going, oh, my friend Edith is here. Okay, I'm back. All right. Another question, Celia.
Yes, so this is kind of a two-part. How can we allow ourselves to feel the pain, anger, or sadness of others if they don't share it with us? And they've also asked, forgiveness is always challenging. Sometimes to ask for forgiveness is easy, but to forgive others is much more difficult. What steps should be taken to overcome that feeling?
Uh, uh,
And I also want to say we only have about 12 minutes, so.
yeah, I'm going to say we'll do a whole session on that in Connecticut. So I hope you can join us. And if you can't join us in Connecticut, there's going to be an online, what's called a VIT, a virtual intensive training in October. And I also just do year-long programs. And that's one of the things we do in our year-long program. We can't force ourselves to forgive because that is a form of violence. What the shorthand is, it's about finding out what needs in us are yearning to be cared for and how to care for them or to get others to care for them. What we usually want is the person who wounded us to care for them. And that is a recipe for suffering. If we say, this need is wounded by that person, and it's that person who has to help this need feel better, we're setting ourselves up for failure most of the time. So how else can I get this need nurtured? And that's all I'm going to say about that now. Thank you, Celia. Are you still with me or are you frozen? Oh, okay. She's not only frozen, she's gone, but she'll be back. Oh, here she is.
I could see you, but I wasn't here, if that makes sense. You couldn't see me, so I'm
I think,
back.
Celia, that's a metaphor for most of us a lot of the time. I can see you, but I'm not here.
I wasn't here, yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
So, let me get back in the chat and see if there's any other questions. I'm not seeing any, and there's about 10 more minutes on.
Beautiful.
for
Well,
you.
you see, I'm not sure how many people, because there's so many people off camera. I don't know how many people are really here and available. Because I was thinking about we'd have a breakout time to be able to talk to each other about what we discovered in this. But I hate to send people into breakouts and if with someone who's, not really able to be here. Yes, Brigitte.
Hi again. I personally would rather not go into a breakout. I would love to hear you talk more about, that's my own personal. I want to get more out of you. I'd like to hear you speak more. I love beauty of the needs. I love that topic, and I've found a lot of value with it, and I'd love to hear you talk more about it if you decide not to do breakout rooms.
Oh, thanks. All right. Well, let's do a beauty of need exercise. I think we have time for that. So, this is how I like to experience the beauty of a need, because when we arrive at needs from a judgment, we probably are in some sense of deficit around that need. So, what I'd like each of you to do is pick one of the needs that was important to you in the exercise. And you may have had 10 needs, but I just want you to pick one. And if you can't choose, let me know, because I'll tell you which one to use. No, I'm just kidding. Now, what I'd like you to do in this moment, once you've picked your need, is to turn away from your computer, but stay where you can hear me, or close your eyes so you can hear me, but you're not staring at the computer. You could go off camera, you could do whatever it is you want to do. And I want you to imagine, to create an image in your head that you are walking towards the house of that need. Whether that need is an apartment building, or a tent, or a cottage, or whatever it is, but it's the dwelling place of that need. And as you approach the dwelling place of whatever need you chose, you see it above the entrance, that word. And then as you walk through the entrance, you are now in the dwelling place of that need. It is surrounding you. What do you see? What furniture is there? Or what are the walls like? Is there artwork, or are they painted, or are there carpets hanging? And is there food on the table? If so, what food is it? Or perhaps there's food coming from the cooking area, the smell of food cooking from the cooking area. So visually, what do you see? What do you smell? Is there music playing? If so, what is it? And then take time to relax into that dwelling. It might be a comfy piece of furniture, or it just may be a nice spot on the floor where you want to lay down and just relax into that need. You don't have to scrap for it. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to make requests for it. It just is surrounding you, permeating you. It's everywhere. And as you rest into that need, notice what happens in your body. How does it feel around the heart area? How does it feel in the belly area? How are your shoulders? Just what is the quality of your body when you are surrounded by this need? And what I'd like you to do is anchor those feelings, that sensation in your body, and then step back into the world with us, holding on to the sensation in your body. And if you're willing to come back onto screen, that would be delightful. And this is what I call resting into the beauty of the need. The need is not missing. It's in me because I'm a human being and these needs are a part of who I am as a human being. I don't know if that's how other people practice the beauty of the need, but this is the exercise that I find the easiest for me to access the fullness, the beauty of a need. And if you found that at all interesting, or useful, or insightful, how about a thumbs up? If that was a waste of your precious life force, you can do a thumbs down. And if you haven't decided yet, a thumb to the side. The jury's not out on that one yet. Okay. Or is out, not, yeah. All right. To me, this is so important in my growth as an NVC practitioner. Because often what we do is we're talking from the deficit of a need. I want it, and you need to give it to me. And then I wonder why when I ask, you're kind of backing out of the room, either physically or emotionally. And one remedy for that is to take the time to notice how this already is in me and what I might be asking of another is how to enhance it. One of the people I learned NVC used to say this: I want to make my requests from the beauty of the need, not the lack of the need. Because when I'm asking from lack, I'm asking for the air for my lungs. But when I'm asking from the beauty of the need, I'm asking for the icing on the cupcake, was the metaphor she would use. So you could, whatever is like the salt on my potatoes, anything that you think enhances the food. All right, Brigitte, I hope that was useful to you and is a way I like to follow up on any exercise when I'm looking for needs.
Thank you, Peggy. It was.
And Celia, I'm just about having completeness. If anybody has any questions or curiosities, I'm here for you, and I will stay on in case the questions and curiosities that come to you, Celia, are more of a training question.
Thank you. And thank you so much, not only for offering this session today, where stepping into this really powerful reminder to what I especially took away was not rushing to get to how can I fix it, right? Resting in feeling and then the needs and coming from a place of fullness, a place of choice, really, instead of a place of desperation. So that was just a beautiful little reminder for me today. And Peggy's going to stay on And we're gonna switch now. She is still here, so there will, if you do have questions about trainers, please feel free to reach out. Questions about the IIT logistics. I'm here to field any questions you have about the process, about getting here, about if you can have gluten-free food, yes. So feel free to put things in the chat or just raise your hand. And we may have done such a great job of answering your questions. You may not have any. And I want to borrow something from Peggy. And if you have enjoyed this session, if this has contributed to your deepening your connection with your own needs and your own presence, would you please give a wave, give a thumbs up, have a sprinkling of emoji hearts just to show Peggy some gratitude and love for her being here. And I also want to add that Peggy stepped in last night at around 6 o'clock, I think, to do this. So I especially appreciate that she showed up with that reliability. So that gives me much more like trust and ease in my body. And that's the kind of team that we're cultivating for this IIT, that we have people who are going to be stepping in, really seeing, catching each other, so they can offer you real gems, real pearls like this. And if there are no organizing questions, then Peggy, would you be willing to answer if there are questions about process or anything that you've shared today? Is that?
Yes, of course. And I just wanted to, this is totally off script, of course, what I'd love is for you all to come to Connecticut in November so I could be with you in person. And if that is not practical for you, please look into the VIT, which will be happening in October. 3 weekends, 3 3-day weekends, where we'll be covering much of the same material.
Can you talk more about that, perhaps? About how that, like, how many hours a day will that be, and how that will work virtually? Because I'm very interested.
I think we will probably have a informational session about the VIT, because I haven't actually taught at a VIT before, so I don't want to say anything that will be misleading.
I could answer that real quick. Just
Thanks,
hey, I think that was Pam. Is that right?
It
Or
was
no?
Brigitte who asked the question.
Oh, Brigitte. Thank you, Brigitte. Hi, Brigitte. Yeah. So the VIT, I've done 2 or 3 of those. Typically, it's the one thing that's amazing about the VIT, and I think we will do a meet the trainer, so you get to see Peggy again. We'll probably do a VIT meet the trainer with Peggy again, who is, as you can see, wonderful. And probably, I think I can announce this, it'll be 3 weekends or 3 weekends, Friday morning through Sunday night. And it'll be set up so that there'll be opening circles and, trainer-led sessions during the day. And then there'll be a closing circle each day. And, and the trainers, they're all experienced trainers. So opening circle, 2-hour session, lunch break, and then another session, and then some maybe home groups, and then another session. So there'll be 2 or 3 sessions led a day by the trainers. And then, and you'll be put into home groups. So the benefit of the VIT is that you get to be in your own home. the benefit of an IIT like this one is you get to be in community with people. So, they both have their advantages and hopefully different levels of accessibility and flexibility for everybody. That's kind of a brief overview. Is that okay for now, Brigitte?
Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, and
And-
honestly, I'd love to have you all come to both. I mean, you could go to this one if you want more Peggy, you should go to both. That's really what you should do.
Did you say that you had a date for October?
I think it's going to be announced soon, and I don't remember the exact dates. So, Brigitte, it might be even up on the website by Monday. So I might ask you to check on Monday, and you can email us if you can email me directly if you want. And I will forward that information. I'm a co-organizer for that event. I want everybody to come to both. So yeah, don't spend money on food for the next 6 months is my advice.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric,
Terrible joke. I apologize.
would you put your email in the chat if people want to follow up with you?
I can give you the dates. Just give me a moment.
Yeah. I would advise people to just check the
Okay.
website on Monday, and then there'll be an email address on Monday on the website. Let's do that. That'll be
Okay.
better.
Sounds good.
So I'm wondering if anyone has anything, any comments, anything they would enjoy sharing now, even if it's not a question. And also, I'm just, for the people here, for anyone, would this be your first IIT if you're coming to?
Hi, this is my first IIT, and I just wanted to know what's the name of the website so I can check the information.
Oh, hi, Raya. It's, so this one will be, this is going to be listed for both of them on the cnvc.org website. I just want to confirm with Peggy and Eric that the VIT is listed on that one as well.
I think what Eric said is by Monday, it ought to be up.
Yeah, yeah. So the Connecticut one is definitely there. It's been there for a while. You can find us under, I think it's under, there's a drop down that says Learn NVC, and then there's intensive trainings.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And so I saw a couple of you saying yes, that this would be your first IIT. So these are, in my experience, let me see, this will be my fourth IIT, and they're all different. They're all they've all stretched me in ways that I didn't foresee. And the people I've met there have been some of the people that are the dearest people to me in my life now. So they are a way to find community, and that's really this is the seed, especially on the East Coast. The reason we're having this in Connecticut is that I had a lot of West Coast and VC jealousy, and I wanted something to happen on the East Coast to foster this community and to find people. And Eric and I met at a IIT in Bali where Barbara Escher was here. She was one of the trainers there. She's left, but yeah, there, and both Barbara and Eric are such strong friends. And this is an opportunity to find people and to create the world and the community that you really want to be in. And did you have a question? I want to say your name right. Shagufta?
Yes, praise the Lord. Yeah, greetings. This is my first time that I am here IIT. And we are from the Minority Coverage Foundation. He is the founder, and I'm the member of that. I recently joined that, and this is my first time, but I found it very much helpful. There are some feelings inside you that need to be worked out. I think that I can overcome by joining this. As she told before that if we continue to join and in-person session or the online session, virtual, then we will learn more about it. I have these two questions. I want to overcome that feelings, right? And this is very much helpful. I really appreciate it. I was overexcited and I was super excited to join this. I came to know 3 days before, but it's a very helpful session. I have been a teacher for so many years, teaching children, small kindergarten children. Now I joined this this NGO, so it's very helpful. I'm very much thankful to you.
My best. You tried.
Yes, he attended. He has attended many times this events in US. He has
For
gone
violence, non-violence.
for violence and non-violence, right? But I joined him. I know him from a long time, but I joined him recently.
Thank you so much for being here. We are very delighted that you are here. I also was a
Thank you.
teacher. I was a teacher for 32 years of children, and now I teach the people who have older bodies.
Great, it's great because you know that there are some feelings that overcome when you grow in age. You know, sometimes when you are young, you can overcome all that feelings, but in the older age, sometimes it feels difficult. So it's good, nice. I think that as I am crossing 50, so it will be helpful for me also.
Well, in a few weeks, I will be 73, and I'm always
Wow.
learning new things. So never stop learning.
Yeah, there is always room for learning
Yes.
all the time.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we have, I believe it's 2 minutes left.
Well, it's not school, Celia. We don't have
I-
to stay on.
I know, I just want to make sure that we did say 11:15, Jen, is that correct? That we end at 11:15? I mean, sorry, 1:15?
I believe so, but I don't know for sure. Sorry.
So, yeah, and I'm one of the, thank you. I'm seeing Danny nod, thank goodness. I know, and I'm one of the organizers who I will just say is constantly challenged by time. So I love support. So when I ask for, when I ask questions, it really helps me if people are tracking this so it doesn't fall on my scheduling abilities, which is why I need lots of community timekeepers. They're wonderful. So I'm going to just say goodbye. If everybody's, we've had our nourishment for the morning, and thank you so much to Peggy. And I'm doing this because on my screen, Peggy's there. Thank you, Peggy, for stepping up and really helping to catch everybody here and to offer something that gives us a very practical tool for deepening our connection and our clarity before we move towards action. And this recording will be available. We'll send it out to everybody after in our next Meet the Trainer. We will also be rescheduling Morris, and we have another trainer, Amal, who will also have a future date too. So thank you everybody so much. And I'll hope I see you in November. Bye-bye.